Hey, 49ers faithful. What a day to be part of the red and gold. The San Francisco 49ers came out and delivered exactly what they needed. A huge statement win after a tough stretch. This one wasn't just another game on the schedule. It was a must-win moment that could define the direction of their season. Coming into this matchup, the Niners knew that a loss would have pushed them to 5-4, and in the chaos that is the NFC right now, that's not a position you want to be in. But instead, they rose to the occasion, played with heart, and left New York with a convincing victory over the Giants that brings them back to 6-3. That flight home to the Bay Area, it's going to feel a whole lot better after this kind of performance. The offense was finally clicking again, dropping 34 points and putting together one of their most complete games of the year. You could feel from the opening drive that Kyle Shanahan had his group ready to go. They were balanced, confident, and aggressive. After a week of hearing the noise about what went wrong in Houston, the Niners looked determined to make a statement, and they did it on both sides of the ball. Shanahan even said earlier this week that he felt embarrassed by how the team got manhandled by the Texans, and you could tell that message got through. This was the bounce-back game the locker room needed, a reminder that this team can still dominate when it plays to its identity. Offensively, this was a completely different vibe from last week. They put up 380 total yards, moved the ball efficiently, and played their most balanced football of the season. Mac Jones threw for 221 yards with composure, but what stood out most was how well the ground game set the tone. San Francisco rushed for 159 yards as a team and averaged nearly 6 yards per play. A week ago, third downs were killing this offense, but this time they converted 6 of 11 and were sharp in the red zone, turning opportunities into touchdowns instead of field goals. That efficiency is exactly what's been missing, and it made all the difference. Defensively, the Niners showed real improvement too. They held New York to under 300 yards of total offense and didn't allow them to get comfortable. Sure, they gave up some yardage early, but after that first Giants drive, San Francisco's defense tightened up. They forced key stops on third down, limiting the Giants to 5 conversions on 12 tries. That bend-but-don't-break mentality was back in full effect. The pass rush still needs more consistency, but they were playing with energy and purpose again, something that had been missing since that Houston loss. But not everything was perfect. The big cloud hanging over this win is the injury to Mike Williams. Late in the game, he went down awkwardly while trying to bring down Jackson Dart, and immediately you could tell it wasn't good. Shanahan said afterward that the team fears it might be a torn ACL in his left knee. That's brutal news, especially for a defensive line that's already been hit hard by injuries this season. Nick Bosa went down earlier with the same injury, Gross Matos is out, and Bryce Huff has been dealing with a hamstring issue. Losing Williams would be another gut punch for this unit, and it only adds more pressure on General Manager John Lynch to go out and find help before the trade deadline. And that's where things get interesting. Reports surfaced earlier that the Cincinnati Bengals are making Trey Hendrickson available. If that's true, it's the kind of opportunity you just can't pass up. The Niners need reinforcements, and Hendrickson would instantly upgrade the pass rush. He's dealing with a minor hip issue, but it's not expected to keep him out long term. If Lynch can pull that off, it would send a strong message that this team is still all in on chasing another Super Bowl run. The defense needs depth and fresh legs, and the front office knows it. This roster is too talented to let injuries derail the season again. On the offensive side, Christian McCaffrey was once again the engine that made everything go. Shanahan clearly made it a point to pound the football against the Giants' defense that came into this game ranked dead last in rushing yards allowed and expected points per rush. The strategy worked perfectly. McCaffrey finished with 28 carries for 106 yards and a touchdown. His yards per carry average wasn't eye-popping, but his consistency and toughness kept the chains moving all day. And when he wasn't carving them up on the ground, he was torching them through the air, catching 5 passes for 67 yards and another score. Every time the offense needed a spark, number 23 delivered. But it wasn't just McCaffrey doing damage. Brian Robinson Jr. came in and added a serious burst to the backfield. His 18-yard touchdown run was pure power football, the kind of smash-mouth style that Shanahan loves. He trucked a Giants defender right at the goal line and set the tone for the rest of the afternoon. Robinson ended the game with 5 carries for 53 yards, averaging over 10 yards per rush. That's exactly what you want from your change of pace back. And his energy on special teams as a returner was another big boost. The Niners ran it 39 times as a team, proving once again that when this offense commits to the ground game, everything else falls into place. Kyle Shanahan's play calling reflected a return to classic Niners football. More power runs, more inside gaps, and less of the outside zone they've been over-relying on lately. This approach allowed the offensive line to dictate the tempo, wearing down New York's front seven over time. It was reminiscent of that when over Atlanta a few years back. Total control through physicality. When the Niners play this way, with balance and toughness, they're almost impossible to stop. This was also one of Mac Jones's most composed performances as a Niner. Think about it. This guy has now started 7 games for San Francisco and has gone 5-2 as a starter. When he first arrived, most people thought the season was over. But thanks to Shanahan's system and Jones's own improvement, he's not just surviving, he's thriving. He's playing smart football, distributing the ball like a true point guard, and showing leadership that this locker room clearly responds to. He's not putting up MVP numbers, but he's been one of the team's most valuable players. He understands the scheme, reads defenses well, and stays calm under pressure. That's what this offense needed after weeks of uncertainty. And look at the distribution in the passing game. 8 different players caught a pass today, 9 were targeted. That's exactly what Shanahan's offense is supposed to look like. Everyone involved, everyone contributing. McCaffrey had 5 catches. Jawan Jennings hauled in 4 for 41 yards and a touchdown. And Kendrick Bourne added a pair of grabs for 34 yards. George Kittle was steady with 4 catches for 32. Sky Moore made a big seam grab for 21. And even fullback Kyle Juszczyk got in on the action with a well-designed screen that picked up 12. When this many players are touching the ball and creating yardage, you know the offense is humming. So the 49ers leave New York with their heads held high, sitting at 6-3 overall and 6-1 in the NFC. It's the kind of win that can reset a team's confidence, but it also comes with urgency. The injuries on defense can't be ignored, and John Lynch knows it. If this team wants to make another deep playoff run, moves need to be made, and fast. But for now, faithful, this was the response you wanted to see. The Niners got punched in the mouth last week, and today they punched right back. Now let's dive deeper into how this victory unfolded and what it means for the rest of the season, because this was more than just another W on the stat sheet. This was about attitude, about regaining that swagger that defined San Francisco football. The Giants came out strong on their opening drive, marching right down the field and putting up an early touchdown on a 15-yard pass from Jackson Dart to Theo Johnson. It looked a little too familiar to what we saw against Houston last week. Missed tackles, soft coverage, and a defense that couldn't get off the field. But the difference this time was how the Niners responded. Instead of hanging their heads, they came right back out and answered with back-to-back touchdown drives of their own. That's the mark of a confident team, one that's still got fight left in it. Mac Jones set the tone early by completing his first 10 passes. He was locked in, delivering strikes to his receivers and keeping the offense on schedule. At one point, he started the game 12 for 12, showing poise and control that reminded everyone why Kyle Shanahan wanted a smart, decisive quarterback to execute this system. His chemistry with Jawan Jennings continues to shine, especially in the red zone. Jennings caught 4 passes for 41 yards, including a touchdown that had the whole sideline fired up. You could see the emotion. This team wanted this one badly. Another major key in this game was the way San Francisco sustained drives. They controlled time of possession, gave their defense rest, and wore down the Giants' front seven. In the third quarter, the offense stalled a bit, putting up only 3 points, but when the fourth quarter rolled around, the Niners slammed the door shut. Christian McCaffrey found the end zone again, and Brian Robinson delivered another bruising touchdown run to seal it. When this offense keeps that balance between the pass and the run, it's lethal. Shanahan's scheme thrives on rhythm, and we saw that rhythm return. Defensively, the Niners might have given up a few big plays, but overall, this was a solid outing. Tatum was flying all over the field, racking up 16 total tackles, 8 of them solo. He was the heartbeat of that defense today. Upton Stout added 6 tackles and a tackle for loss, while Ronaldo Green had 2 critical pass breakups that killed Giants' drives. Jair Brown came up with a huge deflection in the end zone that prevented a sure touchdown, a play that showed how much confidence this young secondary is gaining. The defensive front also made their presence felt, notching 2 sacks, one from Sam Okawano and another from Clelin Ferrell, who looked explosive and motivated. Those may not sound like eye-popping numbers, but they came at crucial moments that shifted momentum. Still, the injury bug refuses to leave this team alone. The possible ACL tear for Mike Williams is heartbreaking, especially when you consider how many key defenders are already sidelined. Nick Bosa's still rehabbing his own knee, Gross Matos re-aggravated his hamstring, and Bryce Huff hasn't been able to stay on the field either. It's a brutal stretch, and it's starting to feel like every week brings another setback. You just have to hope the front office acts fast, because if Lynch can find a way to bring in a high-impact pass rusher like Trey Hendrickson or someone of similar caliber, that could stabilize this defense down the stretch. But for now, you got to give credit to the guys stepping up. Clelin Ferrell looked like a man on a mission in this game. Keon White made some noise in his Niners debut, showing flashes of the raw power that made him such an exciting prospect. The coaching staff has done an excellent job keeping this defensive line competitive despite all the absences. They may be shorthanded, but they're not short on heart. And that's what this team has always been about. Next man up, no excuses. One thing that really stood out watching this game was how Shanahan kept his foot on the gas. Even when the Giants tried to rally, he never went conservative. The play design was creative, the motion and misdirection were constant, and the execution was sharp. This is the version of Shanahan's offense that scares opponents. Versatile, unpredictable, and loaded with playmakers who can break a game open at any moment. You could see the confidence growing with every drive. And when you talk about leadership, you can't ignore what Mac Jones is doing. Think about where this team was when he took over. The narrative was that San Francisco's season was doomed, that this was just going to be a lost year. But now, here we are in early November, and Jones is 5-2 as a starter. That's not luck. That's execution, preparation, and belief. He's not just a temporary solution. He's proving he can manage games, protect the football, and make big-time throws when it matters. He's been accurate, efficient, and steady. That's the kind of presence that brings stability to a locker room. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Levi's Stadium is buzzing with speculation, and the whispers are growing louder every day. Could TYREEK Hill, the NFL's own cheetah, be on his way to San Francisco? The mere thought has fans and analysts alike imagining a seismic shift in the 49ers' offensive firepower. Hill, known for his jaw-dropping speed and uncanny ability to create separation from defenders in the blink of an eye, has transformed every team he's touched, turning ordinary passing attacks into highlight reels. Now, the rumor mill suggests he could bring that electric dynamism to a franchise hungry for more explosive plays. Sources close to the team, speaking off the record, hint at ongoing conversations, scouting assessments, and perhaps even preliminary negotiations. While nothing is confirmed, the excitement is palpable. The prospect of pairing Hill with the 49ers' formidable offensive unit has fans already envisioning defenses scrambling to keep up. Imagine Hill stretching the field alongside elite receivers, exploiting every inch of space, and forcing opponents into uncomfortable coverage schemes. The 49ers' playmakers and coaching staff would suddenly gain a weapon capable of turning any routine drive into a potential scoring surge. Social media is ablaze with speculation, memes, and hot takes as supporters and skeptics clash over what Hill's arrival could mean. Would the team's strategy shift to maximize his speed? Could this be the missing piece to push the 49ers over the edge in a league where every yard counts? Analysts debate the impact on roster dynamics, salary cap implications, and even draft plans, but one thing is clear: just the idea of Hill donning the red and gold is enough to electrify the fan base. As whispers circulate and insiders hint at more, one thing remains undeniable. If the Cheetah really does land at Levi Stadium, the 49ers offense could become one of the most feared in the league. Until official confirmation arrives, the speculation will continue, fueled by imagination, hope, and the tantalizing possibility of seeing TYREEK Hill turn every snap into a breathtaking sprint down the field. San Francisco might just be on the verge of the NFL's next great offensive spectacle. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.